We're back with a redo video on hooking up the Andersen hitch. We got a lot of comments, a lot of y'all did it wrongs. Those are just, we're pretty new, we're still new, this whole Trippin RV thing. So be patient with us, but we want to reshoot this video and show you the proper way, I guess, the right way.
Yep.
Would you say?
The correct way.
The correct way. So, yeah, alright, here we go.
So the last time we shot this video, I tightened down the set bolts before I tightened down the top bolt. On the video, I realized before we actually hooked up and went that I had done it wrong, so I fixed it. So don't make that mistake. Tighten down the top bolt first to snug it down to the ball and make sure there's no play in there, and then tighten down your set bolts. So we're going to install the Andersen hitch and the hitch pin adapter as well. It's pretty easy. It doesn't take much time to put it in, take it out. And one of the nice things about it is if you're stationary someplace like we've been for the last 3 weeks, this thing takes about 5 minutes to take out, and one person can lift it out of the truck. And once you do that and unload the rest of your stuff, you've got a whole bed of your truck. You can haul stuff and you can move around and have freedom to use your truck as a truck. Otherwise, if you have a traditional hitch in there, they weigh upwards of 200 pounds. Depending on how you go with it, it can be even heavier. So that's one of the reasons why we went with the Andersen hitch. This one's pretty light, even with the chains and everything on it. You can lift it with one hand. So easy in, easy out, and it's really maneuverable. It gives you a huge range of motion, especially if you couple it with an 8-foot bed. I can turn greater than 90 degrees without any issues. I can jackknife the trailer and still not hit the back of the cab of the truck, which is nice. So no blown out rear windows forming. Other than that, I like it because it's easy, it's light, it also doesn't add to your payload much. You know, payload gets to be pretty important with the fifth wheel hooked up to your truck, so you don't want to put a huge amount of weight in the bed of the truck, and that's another nice thing about the Andersen hitch. I can use that weight for other things like generators and other stuff that I want to put in the bed of the truck. So in order to install it, you're going to need a few tools. You need a torque wrench. Torque wrench needs to be able to do 40 or 50 foot-pounds of torque. One of the things is with most torque wrenches, if you get the big ones that actually fit the big sockets, you're going to end up with a torque wrench that has too high of torque settings. So that's why I've got an adapter on my socket. So small torque wrench, adapter, big socket. That's a 15/16 socket, which is what you use to set the torque. And then you're going to need a 1/4 inch Allen socket for the coupler adapter, which we'll use in a little bit, and then a 15/16 end wrench to help you out as well. So the first thing we're going to do, if you see here, I actually went and got a rubber mat for my bed. I noticed after the first couple uses of the Andersen hitch that it was starting to scratch up the bed underneath it a little bit. I'm assuming that it shifted around just a little bit. So I put a rubber mat under there. I got this from Tractor Supply, so if you want to get that instead of the bed saver, they're pretty cheap. It's only like 10 or 15 bucks to get a piece of rubber mat to set under there. Cut a hole in there for your ball. Mount your ball however it needs to go in there, however yours mounts. And then you simply lift the Andersen hitch up and set it down on the ball. Square it up a little bit. Best to use the side of the truck. My mat is not square, so don't pay attention to the mat. So you can measure this if you want. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact, but just as long as it's fairly square. And then you take the pin, stick the pin in here for initial retention, and so that it doesn't ever fall off. And of course it doesn't want to go in. There we go. And then this is where I made the critical mistake that everybody was so kind to point out.
Yeah.
Start with the top bolt, and then you'll do the set bolts. So you take this top bolt, and we're going to torque it to 50 pounds torque. And then once we actually hook up later on, tomorrow,
Yep.
we'll reset it and make sure it's still at 50 pounds. So, turn in. There we go. When you hear the click on the torque wrench, that means your torque setting. I always do it twice, so I get it one click, and then I do it again just to be sure. From there, we're going to go ahead and You can finger tighten these set bolts so you don't have to mess around with the wrench. I'm going to reset my torque to 40 pounds, so a little bit less, and then I'm going to torque these down. Alright, so 50 pounds of torque, 40 pounds of torque. When you hook up, redo this one. Andersen recommends that you redo this bolt after you hook up, after you've got full pin weight on there. Alright, so that's the hitch. Taking it out is just the reverse. Takes less than 5 minutes to take it out, and then you've got the full bed of your truck back. So now, let's go on over to the adapter. So my adapter's hanging right now. I took it off for this video and just reset everything. The reason why it's hanging is because I've already connected the handle to my pin box. So one thing to do when you're using this is always make sure that this nut is tight, because what can happen, and what started happening to us is one time this nut started backing out and it actually makes it loose, so your lock is not actually locking into the hitch. So there's a potential for problems there. I don't think it would fall off that way because you still got a lot of weight on there, but if you hit a big bump or something like that, you might lose your hitch. So make sure that this nut is tight and check that regularly. And then you've got two ways to mount this. You can mount it with the ball facing forward, which is the way we originally mounted it, but then we learned that with the trail air or an extended pin box, it doesn't really work that great. What it does is negates the actual action of the airbag, so you end up with a lot of movement back there, a lot of slamming. So with an extended pin box or with the trail air pin box, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it around backwards. And you can do this if you need to get more room between your pin box and the bed of the truck or the tailgate of the truck as well. So you can adjust where it's at, or you can flip the actual hitch around. It's pretty configurable as far as how you're going to do it. So then you're going to just pop it up there. You don't need any grease on it. And then we're going to take a bolt with the washer on it, slide it through there. And of course it doesn't want to go through right away, probably because I left the set pins a little bit tight. There we go. Slide that through. Now what we're going to do is I put one on each side so that you can hook your change to it. Slide it through there. And you have to lift the adapter up, get it all the way slid through. And then we're going to put our nuts on there. Washer, nut, put it on there. And at this point we're not going to tighten that yet. We're going to do our set pins before we tighten it up. So this is just getting it in place. And what I'm going to do is make sure that it's straight, and I've actually got marks under there from where my Allen bolts were already snugged up there, so I can see where it goes. But if you don't have any marks, or this is your first time doing it, just make sure that this is straight. Again, it's not gonna be disastrous if it's not perfectly straight. All it's going to do is give your significant other that helps you hitch headaches. It's going to look a little off, and it's going to be hard to get it lined up perfectly. So we go ahead and set that, and the directions say tighten it to about 40 pounds of torque. So about equals use the torque wrench and get it to 40 pounds. If you've got it, if you're just using a regular Allen key, I guess you just guess how much 40 pounds is. But the actual Allen socket is pretty cheap. I recommend go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch back and forth a little bit. There you go. And make sure your socket's all the way in, otherwise you get a chance of stripping the head out. That's 40. So finally, again, they say about 40 pounds of torque on the other bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with 40 pounds of torque. This is where you need the end wrench because you can't get a socket on the other one. And because of the weld, you're going to have to find a place where you can actually fit it on there. It's not going to fit on every single one. And then I prefer to keep my eye bolt down a little bit like that so it's easy to hook up and keep neat. There's 40 pounds. Same thing there. And again, I'm going to hit it twice just to be sure. Alright, so now our adapter is hooked up. Again, periodically check the torque on your bolts and check that your set screws are all good, and double check this little nut right here, because if that comes loose, the rod that actually prevents the adapter from coming off the ball is going to be able to back out. So keep that nice and tight. So there you have it. It's really 10 minutes to put both of them on, and once you put the hitch pin adapter on there, you don't have to do it again. It's really just a hitch that you put in and out, and it makes it much easier to deal with your fifth wheel hitch. No need of two people, no need of a crane or anything like that. Easy in, easy out, get full access to your bed while you're stationary somewhere. Any questions? Hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, that's it. We redid it, and we're getting better at this whole vlogging thing and all that jazz.
A couple things to keep in mind. I really like having the rubber cushion in there to protect the bed of the truck, and I like the convenience and the maneuverability of the Andersen hitch. It's gotten us in and out of some pretty tight spaces while we've been doing this.
Well, that's it, y'all. Thank you for watching. Share this out with your RV people or people that's considering starting RVing. Give us a like or a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss us. Tripping with the Smiths. Thank you for watching. See y'all next time.
Yep. Have a good one.